There's a strange moment in tech that doesn't happen often, but when it does, you can feel it instantly. It's not loud, it's not a full reveal with specs and demos and flashy marketing. It's quieter than that. A name shows up, a date gets locked in, a simple phrase appears out of nowhere, and suddenly, everything starts to make sense. That's exactly where we are right now with the DJI Lito series. No big presentation yet, no full breakdown from DJI, and still, somehow, it already feels like something important is coming. Why? Because of how they're doing it. The timing, the silence, the way information is leaking just enough to keep people watching. It doesn't feel random, it feels controlled. And when a company like DJI starts moving like that, you have to ask a simple question. What are they really preparing for? Let's not overcomplicate it. The basics are already confirmed. Two drones, Lito 1 and Lito X1, are launching on April 23rd, 2026. That alone is enough to get attention. But here's where things get interesting. These drones didn't just appear out of nowhere. They've been quietly moving through the system for months. Back in late 2025, they showed up in FCC filings. At the time, nobody really cared, just another set of code names buried in technical paperwork. But that's how it always starts. If you follow DJI long enough, you know their pattern. They don't test ideas publicly. By the time something hits FCC, it's already real, already finished, already planned. Fast forward to now, and suddenly we're not dealing with hidden documents anymore. We're looking at full, clean, high-resolution images of both drones. Real hardware, final designs, the kind of leaks that don't happen by accident. So again, the question comes back. Why now? Look at the timing closely. April 23rd doesn't exist in isolation. It comes right after another major release, the Osmo Pocket 4. That's not just a coincidence you can brush off. That's strategy. DJI is stacking launches back to back. Camera first, then drones. And if the rumors are right, even more products are lined up behind them. This isn't a normal release cycle where one product gets attention for months. This is something else. This is momentum. They're building pressure. And when companies build pressure like this, it usually means they're not just selling products, they're trying to shift something bigger. Now, let's talk about the drones themselves. Not in a boring spec sheet way, but in a way that actually matters. The Lito 1 is clearly the entry point. You don't even need official confirmation to see that. The leaked pricing, somewhere between $329 and $399, tells the whole story. This is not aimed at professionals, not even serious hobbyists. This is for people who've never owned a drone before but have thought about it. Maybe they've seen travel videos, maybe they've watched creators on YouTube, maybe they just want something fun, something different. But here's the real problem DJI is trying to solve. Those people don't buy drones, not because they don't want to, but because drones feel complicated. Controllers, calibration, settings, flight modes, SD cards, firmware updates, it adds up. For someone new, it's enough to stop them before they even start. And that's where the Lito 1 changes things. Everything about it, based on leaks, points to one goal: remove friction. Internal storage means no messing around with memory cards. A simplified control system suggests you won't need to learn complex inputs. Lightweight design means you don't have to think twice about carrying it. It's starting to sound less like a drone and more like something familiar. Almost like how smartphones replaced cameras for most people. You don't think about settings anymore, you just open the camera and shoot. So here's the real question. What if flying a drone felt like that? That's not a small change, that's a completely different experience. Now shift your attention to the Lito X1. Same idea, but pushed further. The price jumps up to around $700. That immediately puts it in a different category. Not beginner anymore, but not fully professional either. It sits in that middle space where people want more power but don't want complexity. And honestly, that might be the most interesting space right now, because a lot of users fall into that gap. They outgrow basic drones, but they're not ready to deal with something like a full Mavic setup. They want better performance, but not more headache. The Lito X1 seems built exactly for that. Leaks suggest better transmission, possibly DJI's O5 system. Around 42 gigabytes of internal storage. Flight time close to 30 minutes. Features like subject tracking and waypoint navigation. But here's the key thing. It's not about adding features, it's about keeping things simple while adding them. That balance is hard to get right. Most companies either go too basic or too complex. DJI is trying to sit right in the middle, and that's where the tagline comes in. At first glance, it sounds like typical marketing. 2 words: clean, minimal, easy to remember. But if you think about it for a second, it actually says a lot. DJI didn't tease camera quality, they didn't highlight specs, they didn't show cinematic footage. They focused on experience. That's a very deliberate choice. Because just fly isn't about what the drone can do, it's about what you don't have to do. You don't have to learn complicated controls, you don't have to worry about setup, you don't have to think too much, you just fly. Now, ask yourself honestly, when was the last time flying a drone felt that simple? Even today's easy drones still require some level of learning. The mini series is great, but it still expects you to understand basic controls. The Air and Mavic lines go even deeper. There's always a barrier. What DJI seems to be doing here is removing that barrier completely. Not reducing it, not simplifying it, removing it. And if they actually pull that off, it could change who buys drones entirely. Because suddenly, it's not just tech enthusiasts anymore. It's everyone. Travelers, families, casual users, people who never saw themselves as drone people. That's a much bigger market, and DJI knows it. You can already see hints of this shift happening. Products like the Hover Air X1 proved something important. People love the idea of drones, but they don't necessarily want to fly them the traditional way. They want interaction, not control. DJI has been watching that space carefully. They're not copying it, but they are evolving it. The Lito series feels like their answer, a way to bring that simplicity into their own ecosystem, but with better hardware, better reliability, and a more polished experience. And here's where things get even more interesting: the sensors. If you look at the leaked images of the Lito X1, there's something unusual: a fisheye-style camera sitting on top of the drone. At first glance, it looks like a basic obstacle sensor, but that might not be the full story. DJI has already experimented with minimal sensor setups before. The Neo 2 showed that you don't always need complex hardware to achieve good obstacle awareness. Smart software can do a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, imagine that idea, but improved. There are hints, nothing confirmed yet, that the Lito X1 might include additional sensing technology, possibly even LiDAR. If that turns out to be true, it changes everything. Because now you're talking about advanced obstacle detection in a drone that's still designed to be simple. That's not something we've really seen at this level before. Usually, better safety features come with higher complexity and higher cost. But if DJI brings those features into a more accessible package, it raises the standard for the entire market. And that's when competitors start to feel pressure. But let's zoom out for a second, because the Lito series isn't just about drones. It's part of something bigger that DJI is building right now. Think about it. You've got the Osmo Pocket 4 targeting creators. You've got power solutions like the Power 1000 Mini expanding into portable energy. There are even rumors of audio gear coming soon. Individually, these are just products. Together, they start to look like an ecosystem, a full toolkit for modern content creation and everyday use. And right in the middle of that ecosystem, you place something like the Lito series, a simple, approachable way for anyone to start capturing aerial footage. It fits perfectly, not as a flagship, not as a high-end product, but as an entry point. And that's a very smart move, because once someone enters your ecosystem, they're more likely to stay in it. They start with a simple drone, then maybe they upgrade, then maybe they pick up a camera, maybe a power solution. It builds over time. DJI isn't just selling devices, they're building a path. And the Lito series might be the first step on that path for a lot of people. So now we come back to the original question. Why does this launch feel different? It's not because of specs. We don't even have all of them yet. It's not because of design. Yes, the drones look polished, but that's expected from DJI. It's because of the idea behind it. Just fly. Simple words, but a big shift. Because if DJI really delivers on that promise, if they make drones feel as natural and effortless as pulling out your phone, then this isn't just another release, it's a reset. a reset of expectations, a reset of who drones are for, and maybe even a reset of how we think about flying altogether. April 23rd is close now. More details will come. Full specs, real-world tests, reviews, everything will be out in the open soon. But honestly, the most important part is already clear. DJI isn't just launching 2 new drones. They're trying to change the starting point. And whether you've been flying for years or you've never touched a controller in your life, that's something.